Welcome at Whisky for You, time to enjoy high quality whiskies. I'm happy to taste with you today 3 different whiskies from the Talisker distillery. It's a distillery from the Isle of Skye, known for their sea flowers and their peppery, spicy whiskey. The first bottle we have here is the Talisker Skye. It's a quite well-known whiskey which actually is available in many normal drugstores, and there it has replaced the 10-year-old Talisker. The 10-year-old you will get now only in special whiskey stores. Then we have the Distiller's Edition of year 2018, which has gained additional maturity in Amoroso cherry casks. And the third one is the 18 years old Talisker single malt, which we can also expect the effect of higher age and more maturity. In terms of price, there are clear differences between those 3. So let's see if we find the differences also in quality. Let's start with the lowest price product, which is the Skye. So we see that the new design of Talisker is now always this nice blue bottle on the nice package as well, with the seaside design. So before that it was a brownish design, but now we have this nice blue one, and you will find that motifs also on the other bottles. It's filled with 45.8% alcohol, like all the Taliskers, by the way. You find no age at the bottle. Also, something that it has in common with other Talisker bottles. The distillery has sold just that successfully that the older barrels have become scarce. And probably for this reason, Talisker created new whiskies that also contain some younger barrels. That is not necessarily negative. Especially at Taliskers, there are quite a few good bottles on the market without any age on the bottle. And the main quality feature of Talisker is also not the age. So now we have to see if the Skye can convince us with other qualities. It's the one which is sold for the lowest price, but still in very high amounts. So let's see what's behind. For the Skye are used fresh oak barrels for maturing, perhaps because of the lack of new ex-bourbon barrels. In a special treatment, it is possible to scratch out the old barrels, to scorch them out, to flame them out, and by this procedure to give them back the old flavors, to activate the flavors of the wood again. Then these barrels have a similar effect on the distillate like fresh wood barrels. They give to the whiskey strong oak notes, but without the bourbon flavor of the ex-bourbon barrels that they have probably been before. So let's have a look. Well, we see at the color most of the Talisker whiskies are colored. This should not be overestimated either, as the distilleries often use very little amounts of special sugars to eliminate and neutralize the differences between the batches, so that the whiskey always looks the same. Used like this by a responsible distiller, of course, this has only a minor effect on the taste. You can feel the smoke. Not very strong, earthy, damp clay, peat, but also salty flavors. Sea breeze, which is typical for Talisker. And behind that, you also find fruity notes. Orange marmalade, maybe. Well, on the bottle is written there are mango flavors. I don't know. Maybe with some imagination. Salty, mild smoke is dominant, I would say. Okay, cheers. A little timid start, but then, yeah, the black pepper note is there. It comes slowly, but then it burns. Yeah. Strong, young and wild, I would say. The so-called chili catch, which arises when distillating through the pot stills with the angled arm. And this peppery glow is, of course, more intense with a younger whiskey than with an older one. The spicy aromas of the oak barrels are clearly noticeable. A little salty and a little sweet, maybe some brown sugar, rounded off with sweet and warm smoke. Slightly weaker in the aroma, but in the mouth it becomes stronger. Of course, not that intense like the 10-year-old single malt. I think this whiskey is in good hands in the trade stores. A good introduction to maybe not that experienced young whiskey tasters who want to try something smoky. But no substitute for the 10-year-old one. For me, it's too young, too shallow. Good for a warm sip after skiing at the hut. But just to enjoy it, it simply lacks the depth and the intensity and the flavors of other barrels. Okay, we have another one. Always in September, October, the new distillers editions come out from different distilleries. So also this one of the year 2018 of Talisker. The individual yearly vintages maybe could be differentiated if you would try them one near to the other. But otherwise, for normal human beings like me, it would be probably difficult to distinguish one year from another one. Of course, also the distillery tries to keep the character similar. This whiskey was now stored in ex-bourbon barrels, and after that it was ripening at least 3 months in Amoroso sherry casks, which add additional flavors to the whiskey. Also, the maturity usually takes a little bit away from the heat and makes it rounder and milder and more mature. So, let's have a look at the Distiller's Edition. You see, a little bit different bottle. Also very nice. More in dark blue. Oh, a little bit more of the good one. Okay. Very complex, distinct smoke note, and also the well-known maritime note of Talisker. Very clear. And also here is a clear spicy aroma coming from the oak barrels. But now behind it comes a wonderful fruitiness. Some like sour fruits, red berries, maybe oranges, and finally even a touch of chocolate. A full start. Still, there is a strong chili catch, even if it's already more than 10 years old. Then the spice of the oak dries a little bit the tongue, but altogether a much bigger volume like the younger Sky. This first 10 years of ripening in oak barrels, in these ex-bourbon oak barrels, gives it a clear difference. And then the finish in these Amoroso cherry casks creates an additional surprise of flavors. So this makes it really important to taste a good whiskey slowly and take your time to watch out for all the different flavors behind the first impression. It's really interesting that only 3 to 6 months in sherry casks can create such a taste. And they have just put half of the whiskey into these sherry casks. Still, it's so intense. The result of the capabilities of a long time experienced distiller. What a whiskey. Well, that's the maturity a good whiskey needs. And as also in the aroma, we also feel and taste the spicy peppery notes. We feel the sour fruits, grapes or currants, maybe some licorice, light cacao notes, and overall this sweeter smoke, which is always present. It's not dominant, but it surrounds everything and gives it a fine wood fire taste. Wonderful. And a long warming finish. You still feel that wonderful taste long time, and I can only say this is one that I can recommend to all the whiskey fans and also to experienced whiskey lovers. So maybe I have to correct myself. If somebody wants to approach smoky whiskey and does not necessarily have to do it with a cheap way, then I would at least recommend to take the 10-year-old Talisker, or even this one, which is definitely an experience and still at a reasonable price. So great! Now I'm in the right mood to try the 18-year-old single malt. Now let's see how such a Talisker tastes if it had much more time to mature, could gain more complexity and more taste from the wood, and as we would expect it from older whiskies, would have become milder and rounder. And that's why I'm now looking forward to this bottle of 18-year-old Talisker, which is, by the way, not always available on the market. There have been times when you could not buy this bottle, depending on how much of their production Talisker could save and lock it away for so many years in their storage houses. So don't hesitate to grab one if you get it at a good price. By the way, whiskey can be kept for a long time if you keep it originally sealed and well stored. So you can always buy a good bottle and put it in your cellar for a special date in future. Of course, if you open it, you should better drink it within the next few months. So this bottle has been just opened. We don't have to worry about that. We see also a very nice bottle. golden number 18 on it. And there is written, "From the rugged western shores of the Isle of Skye, coming richly flavored mighty malt with a warming afterglow. So easy to enjoy it, yet like Skye itself, so hard to leave." Very promising. Wow. Clear smoke, still after so many years. Very nice aromatic, but behind that opens a colorful bouquet of aromas. You can feel the sherry barrels, but it's not dominant. It's a composition. Fruity notes, but now darker, sweeter fruits, more intense, maybe ripe sweet grapes. And when the nose gets used to this, you can clearly feel the spice of the oak. Very complex flavor. Cheers. Yes, there is still the pepper note. After about 2 seconds it comes out. Not so fresh and aggressive like the younger Skye, more like an old experienced warrior. But it's clearly there. Ginger and black pepper, followed by pleasantly soft, delicate oak flavors. Very balanced. And after that follow the fruity notes. They appear heavy and ripe, raisins, sweet toffee. And in the end still the light salty note. Greetings of the sea, but always associated with a certain sweetishness. Yes, I would compare it to salted caramel, buttery, softy, coated with fine smoke over vanilla oil. That's incredible. And a long, strong finish. Going down this road and lasting there for a long time. A really outstanding single malt experience. Something for real connoisseurs. This is clearly the queen of these three here. But of course, it also has its price. However, I still think that the Distiller's Edition is also a very successful whiskey. It has a very different character, more sherry tasty compared to this 18-year-old single malt. So it absolutely makes sense to try both of them for a very different experience. I would maybe save the 18-year-old for special occasions. And who says that a special occasion is not to sit on a nice Friday or Saturday evening with your love on the fireplace or on the terrace and enjoy the evening? Let me tell you something that you know already. Life is too short not to enjoy it. And the distillery Talisker for sure has produced some very good drops for this purpose. So take a look at our shop. The Distiller's Edition and also the 18-year-old single malt should be there as far as it is available on the market. And I'm pleased to see you again at Whisky for You, your whiskey tasting room. Thank you.